on at the office. That prevented us from getting on at 10 when we originally intended, but it's now 10:30 and we're here. Thank you to Lynn for messaging me and being like, we waiting on you.
We were having a morning meeting in a very, oh my God, in a very intense conversation.
All right.
Cayley and I we're very opinionated. That's what I'm going to say. No, we're not going to talk about what we were talking about because both of us are exhausted about talking about it. So we're going to talk about something else.
I'm sure we'll do a video on it after all is said and done, but we'll let everything simmer. We'll let the
It's simmering.
Peak.
You're right. It's simmering. Right here, right now. I can feel it brewing.
Nikki hates change.
I hate change.
You guys heard that on a live? I feel like you say it almost every video.
I do. I hate change with a passion. Passion.
You've also implemented some good change yourself on your own accord.
Yeah, but I thought about it for probably 6 months before I said it and didn't like it, and I had to talk myself into it first. All right. Sorry, guys. Good morning. We are here. We're done arguing with each other.
We are not arguing.
Oh, we were? I thought that's what we were doing.
I didn't think we were.
I'm just joking.
Good morning.
We do have a topic today.
Yes.
The topic is how to list faster. I picked this one. You want to know why? Because Cayley may be uncomfortable, so I want to make you guys uncomfortable. So here we are. We're going to talk about all the ways that you can help yourself list faster. No, that's really not why I picked it. But on the last couple meetings that not meetings, I guess, lives,
like a meeting.
Podcasts, whatever we were doing, we were talking about how many listings we do in an hour. And people were like, what the heck? How do you do that? So
is it bad that I feel like it's kind of low?
I mean, we're all right.
No, we're doing
doable.
We're decent.
It's
yeah.
doable. It's not like Speedy Gonzalez. Ain't nobody here. What's his name from Daily Refinement? Chris. I'm not Chris. I can't list that fast. But I also don't do still similars and stuff. And there are other things that you could do that we choose not to. But moral of the story, we decided today to talk about things you can do to list faster and how to make your business more efficient.
Yeah.
We're not talking about ordering stuff. We're talking about listings.
All right. So drop a comment down below. Let us know how many listings you guys typically do per hour in case you guys, we got some questions already. Go ahead and drop your questions below. We will answer questions after we get through today's topic and we'll go back up. So Nikki will catch those. But we got a lot of people talking about our process. Okay. So we'll get to that. But right now we wanted to give you guys tips on how to list faster. I'm trying to think of the most influential thing that we've done here as far as making listings go faster. I've got a couple topics in mind, but hey, I love that this is a thing now.
Y'all, I wasn't even sure if you guys could see this at the end, but the real MVPs are the ones who've been catching my heart hands at the end, because that means you stuck it out to the last minute.
I also left it at the end of the podcast.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Did you do the one where we were like, I can't put that arm up, but where we were like
so,
this, making it with the Squishmallows face?
All right, so what do you think is the most influential thing? Let's first think back to when you first started here. We were at the old office. We actually had a conversation the other day where you were like, Cayley, remember when you told me to do like 10 listings a week?
Oh my God.
And you're like, I was awful at them.
Okay, so we're going back for a second here. But when I originally started, we originally were only doing listings Monday through Friday. Okay. And we did 20 a day at the time. And I say 20 a day, but I mean, that's what we set active was 20 a day. Okay. And we decided for some reason, and I don't know why. I mean, I know why now we did it, but I don't know what originally was
what prompted it.
Yeah. Our original prompting, whatever. But we decided we were going to do them on the weekend, and we were going to do 120, and we were going to set 10 active on Friday or on Saturday and Sunday. So Cayley would take one day and I would take the other. And she'd say, okay, I want you to do these 10 listings. Well, heck, she'd come in like 20 minutes later and I'd be on the same listing. And I was sick. Like, I dreaded every week getting to listing time because I was like, man, I am slow. And like, she'd come in, she's like, well, time yourself. What's your timing? And I was like, I don't want to time myself because it's horrible. Like, it was bad. I had so much anxiety over that. If there was a reason why I wanted to quit, that was it. I hated listings. Like, they made me want to vomit every time you told me to do them.
She
When
had
I did 'em-
she had no reselling experience before that.
Oh yeah, I had
Brand new.
jeans, shirts, that's it. Plus size kids. I didn't know anything other than that. Anyways, long story short, I think the game changer for me was like probably, or what I think is a game changer for everybody, is the styles. If you can get the styles, the style numbers, figuring out enough about the actual items, I think you do good. Because I can make a listing so fast by like looking up style numbers and stuff now. I think that would be like a make it or break it for somebody that was new.
Why do you think that looking at the style numbers helps you so much? Is it because it helps you build the title more? Is it because it gives you the item specifics?
I struggled with the titles and the keywords first. Would be the two things I think I struggled with the most. And really, like on eBay, once you start getting... Oh my god. I thought both the girls were here, and I was like, who is coming in here? I thought there was a monster.
Just Marley. She's got wholesale for us.
Yay! But I think that once you build the title now on eBay, the rest of the specifics, like you've got all those check boxes that prop up. So I feel like if you can get your title, you're good. I don't know. I think that the titles were the biggest struggle, and I think that that's why the keywords, or not the keywords, the style numbers do so good, is because once you build the title, everything else kind of comes.
Yeah.
And when you search the style number, you find the exact item, you can find what's trending, you've got the pricing, like you've got everything there. So styles, that's it.
Yeah. I think, just to tag on to that, I think once you finally learn what the drop downs mean, like I know the first time I clicked on a drop down, I was like, I have no idea what all of these sleeves mean or all of these dress links mean. And it wasn't until I was like, okay, I'm making a decision. If I don't know what something in a drop down means, I'm going to stop. I'm going to open up a new tab. I'm going to Google it, and I'm going to learn today what these mean. And then I'm going to memorize them, and I'm going to move on. And that way, the next time I came across that, I already know. Fast forward to today, just about any listing, I know before I even click into the drop down what my options are and which one I'm probably going to pick. Nikki has been gracious enough to make something really helpful to not only myself but the new hires and also any employees at the office, where she has started picking a drop down and then getting visuals of what those drop downs are. So this is a sleeve one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she pulled images and also the names, and she listed them also in alphabetical order that the drop downs actually are, so they know when they pull a sleeve they're looking at this in the same exact order. And they've told me it's extremely helpful for them, and I would have to agree. Some of these, it's nice to have a visual on. That you don't realize, and you've done this not through all of them yet, but every week you're doing a new one, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, every week I'm doing a new one. I've got them for shoes, I've got them for sleeves, dresses, collars. I've made some for patterns. I've made some for purses. I'm eventually going to try to get to every single category, but I thought that really helped the girls, and I remember thinking, stuff like this would pop up, but I'd be like, what the heck is a dolman sleeve? Like, I know what that is now, but like, what does that look like? And I'm thinking, how do I expect the girls to know which categories to pick if they don't even know what it is? So, I don't know. I randomly had some extra time one day, and I thought, I'm going to just make these. I'm not going to lie. Before, if any of y'all are copyright people, I stole all these photos off Google. Every darn one of them. I did make them myself. I just like went and copied and pasted them, and then, like I said, put them in alphabetical order of the same as the drop down so that they could find them easier. And I have them on the Google Drive for them as well. And that way, all they have to do is pull it up and find exactly what they are. And I think that that's made a huge change for them. You can definitely tell that they're using more things like roll tab. It's also affected the way they're doing photos. I'm calling Marley out back here. But she looks up but it's also affected the way she's done photos. So now that she's seen a roll tab sleeve, she's taking a photo with the sleeve roll tabbed. So, I don't know. If you guys are leaving comments or questions, we are definitely going to go back. So don't feel like we're ignoring you. But we're just talking, and then I promise I'll go back.
A lot of people said, great ideas, Nikki, and someone said Nikki is a boss babe. Love it. Yeah,
I've
so
never been called that before. It's the first time for everything.
after a while, too, once they learn these enough, like, they don't even need these. It's just until they memorize everything. But I suggest that you guys do the same thing, whatever works for you, but have something in front of you until you memorize it, until you get it down enough. But if you don't know what a drop down is, not just on eBay, but mostly talking eBay, they have the most drop downs. But Poshmark, too, like, if you don't know what something is, open up a Google tab, look it up, search the Google images until you figure it out. But I think knowing exactly what's in the drop down and being confident on which ones to select have made a huge difference. There's a bug.
I didn't even see it. You were just like, go away.
There's a little guy.
My face. My reaction to you. You're something.
Let me think. What else has been the most influential? I think when you and I, just that first time, well, really it was me and you walked in and you were like, oh my God, when we had that giant whiteboard at the old office.
That was so fun.
I wrote down every single process that we do, like a breakdown, and she walked in and the whole board, I don't know if you guys remember that, it was a whole wall. It was big,
it was massive.
Whiteboard. And I had it filled with like every little thing, and she walked in and I was like, don't kill me, and she's like, oh my God. But it was so good, and you love it now, and we do it, what, like every 6 months maybe?
Yeah, we just like write down every single thing, every single step, and think of what we can do.
Yeah, so like
cut stuff out.
For photos, instead of just writing, we do photos. We do, okay, we grab a tote, we walk the tote over, we pull it up, we hang it up, we cut the tabs off, we steam them. You know, then we're putting it on the wall, we're taking pictures. Well, then we got to go back to the desk, we plug the phone in. So we broke down every little step, and then we said, okay, what can we cut out, or what can we condense together so we're not touching it twice? And we've cut out a lot of stuff. We have like a lot of stuff. And I think that has been super beneficial. And one last tip I'm going to give you guys for listing faster, including photos, is to think about where you're touching things twice and figuring out if there's a way that you can only touch it once. And we have made a lot of tremendous improvements with that recently.
Do you guys want to know what that's called? It's called the Ohio rule. What? Only handle it once.
Oh, I've never heard of that.
When my old boss told me that forever ago, and I was like, I don't know how you expect us to do anything faster. And he's like, well, you're not using the Ohio rule. And I was like, what? And he told me that, and I swear to her, after all this time, it's still stuck with me that you only handle items once. And if you can, then you cut down the amount of time you're doing it. Plus, you save all the time that you're going back to the item every time.
I love that, the Ohio rule.
I like it because we're from Ohio, so.
All right, so those are our 3 tips for listing faster. I'm sure that there are plenty more, but I would say like solid, those are our most influential ones that made the biggest difference. So if you guys have any, drop them down below, but I think we've got a lot of questions. I mean, you guys had like 30 minutes to think of things, so.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, we're sorry we didn't get on, but we're here now. But we're going to start going through the questions. If you guys have any reseller questions, put them down below.
All right, ready?
Yes.
Question. Which eBay report do you use to keep your inventory to specifics, items sold, aging inventory, and such? Do you list the same items on eBay and Posh at the same time?
Yes, no. We do list all items on both platforms, but it's not at the same time. We schedule a few weeks in advance. We're a couple weeks ahead. Actually, some aspects we're a month ahead. But right now we're currently listed about 2 weeks ahead. And so when an item gets listed by ourselves or one of the employees, it gets scheduled for, let's say, 2 weeks out. We do not cross post that item until it actually goes live on eBay, which is the platform we started on. And then we use List Perfectly to cross post over. I don't think I quite understand the first part of that question.
It just said, which reports do you use to keep track of inventory? Your items sold, aging inventory, and such.
I mean, there's a bunch of reports you can pull. We don't, so for like inventory, we record it on the eBay SKU line. When you pull for inventory, don't you just go to the reports? Like when we're going to do a total store inventory, you just go to reports?
Yeah, I go to reports and just pull
active listings.
All the active listings. Yeah.
As far as solds, I use the performance tab for a lot of it. you can pull up just like your base numbers on the performance tab, but then you can also download the report of the actual items that have sold. Those are the two main ones that we use. And yeah, really helpful, super easy to pull because everything's there.
Eid1 says, I don't accept returns on eBay, but this buyer complained that she found a flaw in the item, saying that was not in the description. She even said that the item had an odor. eBay approved it anyways. I'm only calling this out because we've had this conversation. And everybody always says that they don't accept returns and they've never had this issue. And this is exactly why we accept returns, because this stuff happens. If you guys watch the podcast with Claudette, don't you spit water on me now. The full moon must be out. I'm about to check the weather.
I think a bunch of people commented and said it's definitely the full moon.
Something's happening because these people are sociopaths. And I need to know about the moon. Does anybody know what moon phase we're in right now?
It would have been at like a week ago.
Well, it would have still tell me. You know what I mean?
It had to have been a full moon.
I don't know. I can't find it on the thing. Anyways,
Claudette.
people have been freaking insane, and I just, oh my god, it doesn't tell me. Jordan's gone. I can't ask her. Y'all let me know what the moon forecast is for Ohio, because I need to know. Let me just Google moon forecast. People are crazy anyways, and that's why I think it has been a thing.
Yeah.
Because she's got it. I had 2 people message me on Instagram after that reseller podcast, and they were like, oh my god, let me tell you my story. Do you want to feature it? And I was like, yeah. It is the waxing crescent. Let's go back. Oh my god, why are you being difficult? It was new moon. It wasn't a full moon, but it was a new moon. I bet that's what it was. Y'all be praying for me. It's fine. Okay, but yeah, that's why we accept returns.
Because your buyers can force it anyway. So to the person that said that, maybe accept returns because they gonna do it to you anyways. What?
I just want to see your reaction to this.
Oh,
Look
Lord.
at the camera.
Okay.
How do you generate your SKUs? I'm getting ready to overhaul my inventory system. I'm sure there's a past video I need to visit.
Well, we have a current inventory system.
She says current, because that's what we were arguing over this morning.
And if Little Miss Nat or Dusty Old Hat or any other mods that are in the chat want to put it's called like Office Tour and Inventory System video in the chat, that would be fantastic. But we are switching over our inventory system, and that is why we did not get on a lot this morning when we should have. But we are still working out the kinks with that and have to find exactly how we're going to lay everything out. So I don't really want to go into that until we get it done, but it is the magazine system that a lot of you have suggested to us, and a lot of you use actually. We're going to be switching over to that. Nikki's not happy about it.
I'm not happy about it. Miss T, we are in Ohio. I almost forgot. I don't know how. Good morning. Good morning. Used to live here. Cool.
Thank you for putting that link in. Good morning, everyone.
Question. Is putting the word size in the listing title necessary, or is it okay to save the characters and put the size only? Example, Madewell extra or ex-boyfriend. Almost said extra. I don't know why. Madewell, ex-boyfriend, plaid shirt, jade green, M.
I think it might vary brand to brand. We personally choose to always put the word size in there. I feel like that's how buyers search, but a way that you could tell, and maybe Nikki wants to test it out, but you could go onto eBay, you could go to the active listings, and let's just do that search. Let's say Madewell top, size M.
All right, there are, I'm just going to say 40, I'm not going to filter.
Yeah.
I'm just going to say 4,100 plus.
And then we could do, it without the word size.
There's 8,600 plus.
So maybe it'd be better to leave the size out. I don't know. I always
Sorry.
put size in. I think, in my opinion, sometimes the algorithms can get tripped up with like M, because M could be on a couple different things. You have thoughts on that?
I always put it on here, and here's why. Because I have a hard time when I've like done closet reviews and stuff and people haven't done it. And if it just says like, I don't know, let me think of a good example. I need a word that ends with an S that would describe.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
So like I can't think of a word. This doesn't make any sense. But like say they put the word grass. You're not gonna put grass in there typically, but you have the word grass and then you put like space S. Sometimes I'm like, I guess it doesn't make sense either. Blacks, blues. Let's do blues, right? BLUE, blue, and then there's a space and an S. I'm like, okay, are they saying it because it's various colors of blue, or is it the size? And I know that there's the drop down, but I think sometimes it makes it hard to find. It's also just kind of, I don't know, it looks clunky to me. I'm worried about things not looking like clunky.
I have had an issue when I do comps sometimes, like if you put, oh God, I'm trying to, can't think of an example now that
I know, I'm doing the same thing.
When you do Madewell women's top S in the search for size, sometimes it'll convert it automatically to Madewell tops, and so it won't include that as a size when I'm doing my comps. So I guess that's why I always thought you probably should put that in your title as size, but honestly, I don't know that it makes a difference. I personally think it looks better to the buyer. If anyone has tested this out, you can let us know. Sorry, we don't have a better answer for you, but the way we do it is we do include the word size because we want to be very clear with our buyers.
Sorry that we were late. I'm reading through all those comments. Thanks, Lynn. If we had forgotten, it would have been really, I would have really appreciated the message because we would have been like, oh crap. Good morning. Good morning. Glad you guys, all you first people are here. Alicia wants to know, when you first started listing, how many listings were you able to do solo, and what was your average daily sales? So like before getting employees, when you were on your own, doing your own thing.
When I was on my own, doing my own thing, I had absolutely no system. Every day was different, and I couldn't even tell you how many I could do. Once I started timing myself, this was before I had employees, I challenged myself to get 10 listings done a day, every single day for a week. And it honestly, once I was focused, only took me about an hour, which is honestly about what I can do right now, is usually around 10, 15, sometimes 20 an hour, depending on what the items are.
We discussed your process as well as the listing.
Process, okay. We
buy the items.
We buy the items. Our process is slightly difficult. We do have a video, what is it called? From source to...
Oh, the life cycle.
The life cycle.
The life cycle would be a good one. If somebody wants to tag that life cycle video, that would be awesome. And that would show you, Annette, exactly how the process goes, as well as how the listing goes.
Yeah, basically we source the item, it comes in, we create a draft for it, and then we take photos, we fill in the photos, then we fill in the listing, we set it live. Once it's live, we cross post to List Perfectly, and then if it sells, we take it down on every platform and ship it out, is the gist. There's a lot of stuff in there involved, like we do a lot of bulk processes, so we're not just listing one item at a time.
Annette, we will be doing closet reviews again, or I think there's still some closet reviews out there to be purchased.
There's one actually we need to do today.
I did get a notification for low.
We have another one?
I don't know, it just said low quantity.
Oh.
From that place you might want to look at.
Okay, I'll look at that today.
But if it's not up, it'll be back up today. And so, yes, we are still doing them. I have almost 1 year selling on eBay and Poshmark and have 23 sold items in that time. That's pretty good still. I saw it at the end of the podcast. Good. Thanks for hanging out. Mandy says she could do about 20 listings an hour, including cross-posting.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
I think if we were super focused and we picked similar items, like if they were all shirts or something, that we could probably do 20 an hour.
Dusty Old Hat says he can do 10 an hour depending on the item and the speed of my internet connection. That is including manually cross-posting to Posh.
And if eBay had any glitches that day.
Oh my god, eBay. Y2K is supposed to be like pre-2000s, like vintage, not vintage, I guess kind of like throwback, retro. Think like
Britney
Spears, Justin Timberlake.
What people wore in the 2000s. That's Y2K.
So if you guys are debating on about how many you can do in an hour, it doesn't matter whether you're doing it with photos or without photos, as long as you specify one way or the other. I would say if we're doing them with photos, we do about 10 an hour
minimum.
Yeah. If we don't do them with photos, it's more like 20 to 25 an hour. Yeah. If that does not include the photos.
All encompassing, we can usually get 10 for the newest person here an hour, and then probably up to 15, sometimes 20, depending on how easy the items are to list, for our more experienced people here. What are you doing?
I was trying to find something that would have a style number on it.
Oh.
But, you know, it's all a blur over here.
When you actually need the examples, you can't think of them.
Oh my god, it's a mess. Where is this? This is Anthropology.
Yeah.
Yeah. I couldn't tell at first. It was their Conversations line. Let's watch. I'll sit down here, and this won't have one. It does. Okay. With my water here before I get in trouble. So, I'm saying this because Trina says, I'm lost with styles. I don't know styles at all or fabrics. First of all, fabrics are like always, generally always, on the material label. We make sure to take photos of that because materials can be huge in selling stuff. Plus, it helps you build your titles, right? For an Anthropology piece, this is a 30 of 52 Conversations by Anthropology. Hopefully you guys can see that. There's a little tag down here. Oh, and it has an OB number down here at the bottom, right here at the bottom. And what we do is we just generically go to good old Google and we will type in Anthropology and that number, and it is OB 900 430. And if this works, I have not tested this one. If it works, it should have the exact item.
She went to Google Images.
They do. Yep. So I go to Google, search it, click on images, and it'll tell you that this is called a limited edition. Oh, yeah, limited edition green, blue and green heart blouse. Or like a printed blouse. And you can find the exact item. So generally you'll come up with like a specific style name. This one doesn't have one, but most times it'll pop up and say like, I don't know, something special.
And just to be clear, because we have this misconception a lot, we do not look up the style name of every single item. We only do it for certain brands like Anthropology, Free People, sometimes Madewell. But there's only a handful of brands that we do that for. Otherwise, we just rely on the factors of the item and those styles, and that's what we're putting into the title. I got a cough.
Sorry. But sometimes that's like the best thing that you can do for your title is to include the style names or to include all the fabrics, things like that.
Yeah, and sometimes like other people's listings pull up and then you see like keywords and you're like, oh, yeah,
pretty good.
Now I know I could use that.
Jane, if you list multiple quantities on eBay, does that count as one listing? If you're listing it as a quantity item, yes, on eBay that does have it as just like one line as a quantity. If you're discussing that as far as how many listings you can do, I mean, that's kind of a technicality, so maybe you could do 100 in a minute. That would be pretty awesome. Are the style numbers on the care tags? Normally they are. You can also use Google Lens. That's been really huge for us. Sometimes we'll just Google Lens something, and like I might I don't know. I don't have anything on like worthwhile to search, but sometimes I'll Google Lens something and then type like free people. You can add it to the search, and it'll pull up like the exact same item, which is really convenient. And a lot of times you can find it from there as well.
Google Lens has been a lot better recently.
Yeah.
Like the more people use it, I'm finding that it's like way more accurate.
We spend a lot of time taking photos of all the tags and making sure that we can find stuff.
Yeah.
I'm having issues, Michelle says, I'm having issues photographing some colors, especially red. The images are not showing the true color. Any tips?
I would play around with two things. You can tap around the screen, like tap the background instead of the item to see if your brightness changes. And then also consider changing your background. We have our white wall, and then right underneath of us, we have like a solid color rug, which we use for lighter color items. But sometimes we find, Jordan just had one like this the other day. I can't remember what the color was. It was like a brownish green, and it just wasn't coming off right on the white wall. So I said, well, why don't you try putting it on the blue rug and do a flat lay with it, and let's see if it helps the color at all. And it did help. So maybe even consider changing your background to get the true color. When we have color discrepancies, one of the things that we do is in the description of the item, we'll put color is truest to photo number 3, or the one with the tag in it. And that can usually help your buyer's frustrations when it comes to color.
I like that. People want you to put those diagrams on your website.
I don't know if we can, because they're not images that...
Wait, just telling you.
You can make your own. We would have to, in order to make this, we would have to photograph our own items in order to do that. Or look for like a image site that is royalty free. We'll consider it, and by we, I mean Nikki's the boss babe with this, so we'll have to see if she can help us out.
Well, just it would take me some time to do photos of my own, only because I would have to have an example of every single item.
Right.
You know what I mean? If a customer on eBay wants multiple items and asks for a discount on shipping, do you give them one? Okay. Podcast vent session. It's coming to the YouTube. I guess the other's on YouTube. Whatever. I'm not going into this podcast debate. It's the best enough. If the buyer, if you're already giving them a discount, so we run like 10% off coupons and so on and so forth. If you...
Are you rebooting?
Yep. If you are, I'm starting to read the comments. Yeah. I was like, you need to stop reading the comments. If you are already giving them a discount, like I said, we do 10% off coupons, or we like sell on an offer. We do not give additional discounts for items that are not purchased in the same transaction. So they have an option. They can do, we do like $10 shipping on more than one item. Or we have like 10% off discounts if they want. If they don't purchase them in the transaction, like I've had enough of people being like, oh, I use my offers. Can you give me another $20? No.
Yeah.
No. I'm not doing it anymore. I am getting so mad. And people know that it's a thing and they use it as a workaround, and I'm done doing it. So you either use your 10% off coupon, or you get cheaper shipping. You can pick.
Yeah.
But like the stuff you're getting is so freaking cheap anyways. Like, oh my, don't get me started.
They accept like 5 different offers to watchers separately, and then want you to combine shipping. Yeah, we used to in the past, and honestly, I probably would do it if it were like better items, like a significant, like we had that bundle the other day. What was it? Sold like $400 worth of stuff, but they were all like $50 items. Like it was a solid bundle, not like cheap stuff at all.
Yeah.
Like I would have done it for that person, but it's just not worth it. And we used to in the past, but I'm with Nikki on this one. I'm getting so frustrated by it that we just say, sorry, offers don't combine. And
yeah. It is frustrating, but
and it takes a lot of work to go back in and refund, or you have to cancel, relist, and then like invoice them differently. Like it's too much when you're selling hundreds of items.
When there's an elastic waist, do you take both measurements of it stretched and not stretched?
Not usually. We usually take it not stretched, but sometimes we do get buyers who will ask for that measurement, but it's not an initial measurement that we take.
Dust Shield Hat and Joyous Vintage have both linked some links about sleeve lengths or like fashion examples with PDFs. There are some on eBay, not on eBay, on Google that I came across too. The problem that I kept running into with our girls is that I didn't want to have a bunch that had a bunch of different options on there that eBay doesn't recognize. Right. I wanted to stick it with just what eBay had because they can be a lot to remember. Plus, they pick it, and then all of a sudden it doesn't fit the drop down, and they're like, well, now what do I pick? So I wanted to do just these options so that they would know either it fits this or it doesn't, and then we move on. But there's a lot out there, so thank you guys for putting both of those on there.
We have the best mods.
We do. They're so good. What is your opinion of a good steamer? Backpack Baby. I like that.
So we've been through a lot of steamers. I'll just say that. We started with the handheld, like mini ones that you would just use at home. Those did great for a while until we started listing hundreds of items a week. We currently list about 300 a week now. So we switched to a full size. Originally, they're really expensive, the full size, like commercial ones. We originally picked one that was kind of a cheaper one on Amazon, a name brand I hadn't heard of. That was about $100 when I got it. That lasted for what? A couple months?
Yeah.
It probably would have lasted longer, but somebody accidentally left it on with no water in it.
And it exploded.
It exploded. And then it didn't work after that. After that, I was like, you know what? Like, we're going to be using something all the time. Let's go ahead and get what's considered the best. So we splurged, and when I say splurge, I think it was like $300 to $400 at the time on a Jiffy steamer. And I probably won't ever go back because we've had this one for a while. And
it's really nice too.
It's really good. So I went with the name brand on it. I'm definitely not a name brand person in general, but when it comes to business equipment, sometimes you do need to get the better quality. So we use a Jiffy steamer. I think I have a link to it in the Amazon store, but I can't remember. But go look up Jiffy steamer on Amazon and you'll see it. They are very pricey, but they work really well.
Robin wants to know how many likes you would say is typical for selling on Poshmark before it sells.
I have no idea. We don't look at likes.
Little Miss Nat wants to know, is there a way to drop prices on eBay or is there only coupons and offers?
You can drop prices on eBay. All you have to do is go to your seller hub, your active listings page, and you can either revise an individual listing and then drop your price within the listing as you're revising it. Or what I like to do is I sort by my oldest listings and then I bulk select them, which takes me to, and then I hit edit, which takes me to the bulk editor. And then you can click select them all in the bulk editor and then select edit price, and then it has an option for increase or decrease. You can decrease by a dollar amount, you can do a percentage. I choose a percentage and you can apply that to happen all at once. I do have a video on that. It's like how I drop prices every month, and I show exactly how I do that every month, but that's how I do it. They also have markdown promotions. You can also choose like certain categories on eBay. We just did coats and jackets, and we did a temporary markdown for coats and jackets for 50% off to try and move some of that winter item out.
AM wants to know when the meetup in Ohio is.
I am very sad because I was just actually telling Nikki about one this morning that we could have gone to that we won't get to go to, but I get offered a lot, not just from you guys, but also companies and businesses that we work with, offers not just for myself, but for like Nikki and I to go out, or myself and one additional guest if I wanted to bring like a boyfriend, family member, my sister or whatever. Get offered a lot of opportunities to go travel and like do reseller stuff, but there's just not enough time. There's just not. So We've been very sad recently that we have had to miss stuff, and we've also had a lot of personal travel that conflicts with it. But
Nashville, here I come, buddy.
We really want to go to Texas.
Yes. So I want to get back to see Little Miss Nat and eat barbecue with her now that I'm not dying.
Yes, there's a few people I'd like to visit in Texas. But as far as a reseller Ohio meetup, we have a bunch of stuff in the works, but we just have to have the time to do it. And Nikki and I are not people who like to half-ass stuff, so we want to make sure that things line up and that it's good to go before doing that. So, and we just can't make that happen yet.
Dusty Old Hat says hi, Marley.
Oh yeah. There were a couple people in the video I just posted that were saying hi to you.
Okay.
They were like, "Welcome to the team, Marley." Am I going to FlipCon? I'm not.
We were gonna go to a lot of different things.
Camp List Perfectly. That is one I got invited to and unfortunately cannot go. Neither one of us can. We have a lot of travel surrounding that date. Don't forget about visiting Florida. Oh yeah. Yes. Florida. I love Florida. Just like going to the beach. Yes. We'll definitely be making some Florida trips. Has anyone heard anything about Posh Fest? I was wondering. I don't know that we'll get to go, but I was wondering where it was going to be this year. Like, I wish they would.
If it's somewhere nice, we're going. We gonna go.
I was wondering where they were going. I don't know if we'll get to go this year, but eBay Open and Posh Fest, I wish they'd announce it much sooner, because a lot of times if they announce it like 2 months beforehand, we usually already have a lot of stuff booked.
Yeah.
I'm hoping it's East Coast. Me too. I think a reseller meetup in Chicago would be so fun. I don't know if you're tempting fate right now, but
don't you even start. You just stay over there and be quiet this time.
I was just telling someone about that the other day. I was like, people got so mad at me and I didn't feel like I did anything wrong.
What do you do when an item is listed as a specific size, but when you measure it, it is clearly way smaller or way larger than the tag size? How do you list that? That is from Carol.
We get that question a lot. First I would ask, is it because it shrunk? If so, you could just put that in the listing, but is it because it's altered? If it's altered, and even really if it shrunk, we would probably suggest putting the measured size in there, with like a lot of description saying that tag says this size, but actual measurements, or it fits like this. Just make it very obvious for your buyer. Now I will say there are a lot of occasions where, let's say jeans, a lot of people think that just because the tag size says 34 waist that it's going to measure exactly 34 inches. That's not true. So if it's only slightly off, that probably I would go with the tag size, but if it's way off, then I would list it with your measured size.
We have a question about how to increase sales on Poshmark. Well, eBay and Poshmark.
Oh, I was going to say it's pretty much the same for every platform. List consistently, answer customer questions consistently, and then have activity on your account. For Poshmark, that's going to be sharing. So you're going to want to share as much as you can. And then I hate selling on eBay. I don't know why I thought that was funny. A lot of people do. We love it because we got it figured out. But it's the same for every platform. You just have to be consistent. You have to be consistent. Oh, I see a question I've never answered before.
Oh,
interesting.
God.
How much money do I make off of YouTube?
Focus.
Will I share it? I don't know.
Oh my God.
But list consistently, and more importantly, before you even get to that, you got to pick up good items. Like, if you want stuff to sell quickly and your sales to increase quickly, it's not the only way to do it, but if you want stuff to happen quickly, you have to look for high sell-through items. You have to be very accurate in your listings too. You don't want to put stuff that's not true on there, and you do want to put words that are true on there and try to include as much information as possible.
Any tips for when, I know we don't list on Mercari, but any tips for when the brand does not show up when you're listing?
can you type, I haven't been on there in a long time.
Yeah, I haven't
Can you
either.
type a custom? If not, can you just leave it blank and then put it in your description? That's what I would do.
Hopefully somebody else is on. Mercari can help. How do you deal with reselling burnout?
I'm experiencing that right now, actually.
Tequila,
I
painting sessions.
Yeah, I've not taken a vacation for how long? Like an actual not work related vacation. It's been since last year.
Yeah.
Sometime.
I feel like we both haven't gone anywhere since last year.
Yeah. And not that I need to take like a super fancy vacation every year, but I do feel like I need some time off soon. That's not related to
Other
reselling or any other form of work that I do. But because I can't do that quite yet, I try to find little pockets of time wherever I can and force myself like to get out of the grind of things, which we kind of talked about that on the podcast. We've been trying to find like a scenic, peaceful outdoor location to have lunch recently, and that's been really nice for me. But if you can't, take time off, at least try to find little pockets of time and plan stuff to do that's going to get you out of reselling, that you're going to be fully focused.
Yeah.
Got tips on that?
I don't know. Cayley and I are both kind of the same way. We're like put your nose to the grindstone and just get it done kind of work mentality. We like to just push through, like really run for a day and then take the rest of the day to just do whatever. Sometimes when we're here by ourselves, we don't have the girls here, we'll just like run to get everything finished early and then we'll take a half day. Sometimes you just have to say, I'm done. I've had enough. I'm tired. I know I'm not going to be beneficial for today. I'm going to take today. Today's going to be my recovery day, and tomorrow I'm going to start fresh. So sometimes you might need to do that.
Yeah, we had somebody, I don't know if it was like a couple lives ago, but they were like, I felt burnout, I took a vacation, I came back and I was 10 times better. And I was like, yeah, sometimes it's actually more beneficial for your business to take some time off. But I think everybody experiences that. But yeah, you got to find little pockets of time. You have to actually put them on a schedule.
Ruth, we kind of answered this, but I'm going to just touch on it briefly. Tips for doing an efficient inventory audit. I think Cayley kind of brought that up earlier. You just need to write down everything that you're doing, and really look and see where you can cut, where you're wasting time, so on and so forth. The other thing that I like to make suggestions for is to,
I think they're asking about a full-on inventory.
No, they said efficient inventory. Oh, maybe. I was thinking like efficiency audit.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm going to say this and then we can go into that. But one thing I like to tell you to do is to invite somebody who doesn't know anything about your business into your business and let them look things through, because sometimes
I should do that on the video.
Yeah, because sometimes they're just like, oh,
Well,
why are you doing it like this? Yeah, bring my mom in, let my mom go through it. She would probably do it. She'd probably do it for a video too. I don't think she would mind.
Yeah, we should bring someone and be like,
she's unbiased and she like doesn't. Yeah, I think that would be good. I bet I could convince her too. Especially if you promise to edit it.
We should bring our postmaster in to do the shipping portion.
Yes,
that'd be good.
I don't know if he would let us film him though.
He could be in the background just talking.
Yeah. Sold.
Okay.
Okay. Any tricks on efficient inventory audits? I could literally do an entire video on how to do an inventory, and maybe I should at some point.
We should. We've promised the people we would. Just the last time we couldn't. We'd have enough people.
Yeah. We do a spreadsheet. We pull the spreadsheet for eBay first because all of our items really start there. And then what we do from there is we filter it based on SKU. And then we essentially just print for our row. So we have a row, we're just going to make it up and say it's like 1 through 1,000. We print off 1 through 1,000 and hang it on that rack. And then we do that for all the items, sort them based on what row they're in, what number they're in, whatever. And then we just go through and highlight as we go. When we're finished with all of that, then we make any corrections on eBay that are needed, whether we're missing an item and we need to end it, whether there's items that somehow got kicked out of eBay that need to be relisted. We get everything right with eBay, and then we go to List Perfectly and compare. And then from List Perfectly, we compare to Poshmark.
Yeah, she has it down to a science at this point. She's learned a lot of Excel formulas to make the process easy, so we should do a video on it. We're
Yeah.
not, I want to say we have one coming up, but it's probably going to be like a ways down the road, but we'll try to see if we can
I can
film
probably do a video of how to do it.
Okay.
Now that I feel good. I'll do it the day before. That can be my practice run.
Okay.
What do you do? Oh, we already answered this question. Sorry. Welcome, Joe. Glad you're here.
I saw some fellow Ohioans in here.
Yeah. Becky, don't feel bad about not being able to get items done. That's not why we're here. We're just trying to help, I guess, give people some ideas of how they can make themselves more efficient. She said she feels like a failure that she can't photograph 10 and get them completely listed in an hour.
Listen, practice makes perfect.
It would take me all day to do 10. I started.
It used to take me all day. You got to practice, though. You got to stick with it. Do it every day, and you'll see how much faster you get just by repetition doing it. But you'll get there. And honestly, it's good to have a goal. It's good to have a goal and know like what could be achievable by talking to other resellers.
Dustfield Hat wants to know if you have explored Thrift to Life's Men's Manifesto. He just put out a new edition yesterday, and it is fire, fire, fire.
I just saw that he posted that video. Honestly, I haven't been on YouTube so much. I just realized that he like moved to Mexico. So I was like, oh, I feel bad. Like I've not been keeping up with really anybody in the reseller community, but we honestly truly have been so busy. Nikki talks about nose to the grindstone. Like I have not looked up in a while. We've been really pushing it and being super efficient. So I just learned that he completely moved. And I was like, oh, I'm jealous. He's like doing, reseller content from the another side of the world. But I just saw that he posted the manifesto. I haven't got his last one, but I do know that a lot of you found it super helpful. I don't know that I will personally go and look into it because I kind of look up bolos in a different way. But yeah, super helpful. Shout out to Thrift to Life. I know a lot of people found his new and older manifesto super helpful, and he does like a pay what you think it's worth too.
I like that. For eBay, is there a way to disable the annoying ad recommended item specifics alert after a listing goes live?
I wish.
I know.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Beth would like advice on how to get myself and my stuff in my room organized. I'm drowning in product, and I'm taking care of my mom too.
Get some help.
That is tough, but it's tough. I would tell you to just like start small, pick one tote, and then organize it. So put it into boxes, maybe buy a shelf, start putting that away, and just weed through it a little bit at a time. I think one of the biggest things, especially if you're caring for somebody else, is have just set time where you work your business, even if it's like a half-hour time frame where your mom's going and doing something, or she's taking a nap, or whatever that looks like. Just to like start every day. I know it can be really overwhelming when you see a mass pile of things that you have to work through. But just like separate it into little piles and every day take on a new pile, and then eventually it'll be finished.
Yeah.
My best advice.
I know a lot of people struggle to find the motivation to even start. So I always recommend, like, if you can, call like a sister or a friend or somebody and be like, hey, I really want to get this done, but I need help. Having somebody else there almost forces that motivation and helps you to be able to get through it. And you could probably get through it in one day and a couple hours if you had somebody there. So if you're capable of doing that, I know your situation might not allow for it, but sometimes having somebody else there can really help push through the motivation piece of it and get it done really quickly, and then you'll feel so much better.
Trina says, I noticed when comping, I get 2 results, and underneath those are 15 plus of the same item. I played around with the wording, but there can be a great variance. Is being more specific or less better? I think a lot of it comes down to like style names and stuff too. We talked about if you can get as specific as you can with style names, that's good. I always think it's better to be as specific as possible. You might not come up with a bunch of results and you might have to back out a little bit, but at least you're not picking up things because you're generalizing it with everything else. You're only getting the stuff that's absolutely necessary.
If you feel like your results are too narrowed, just go back to search and delete a keyword. Delete the keyword you think is impacting it the least and search that way. But at the end of the day, we also don't want to manipulate our results to fit what we want to see.
Yes.
So something to keep in mind too. There's being specific to get items that are as similar to your item, but then there's also manipulating results because you want to see a certain result, and I've seen people do that too.
Yeah, that gets dangerous very fast. Do you provide clothing measurements for everything? Yes.
Yep, we do. You know why we started doing that? Because we were getting so many questions that we realized if we just did it in the first place, we'd have far less questions. Still get some, but usually we don't have to pull the item back out because we already have it in the photos. Good morning, everyone. We are 55 minutes in. I'm not sure. Oh, we are not anywhere close to the end of the chat, are we?
No, girl. You crazy. What is the best way to transition into offering returns on eBay? Currently, I'm not accepting them.
The best way, select all, edit, apply it, do it, move on. That's the best way.
Yeah, rather than
Honestly,
piecing it.
yeah. Instead of like going back and forth and trying to switch, just do all of it. The only thing I'll tell you, you might not want to include returns on are like if you have any wedding dresses or prom dresses, things that you think people might rent. But other than that, just select all, edit, change the returns for all of them, submit it, and move on.
Difference between a scoop neck, round neck, boat neck. Scoop neck, think about your boobies. It's trying to show your boobies.
This is kind of a scoop neck.
It's like a square neck.
It is a square neck, but imagine this isn't a square, that it's round. Think of like an ice cream scoop. This is more like a scoop. Round is going to be not quite a crew neck, but round. And then boat neck is like, it like comes
oblong
to your, shows like the top of your shoulders.
I think about, I know this, you're like, huh, duh, that's what's called a boat neck. But I think about like just the edge of the boat sitting on the water, and you have the like almost like little like crescent.
Yeah.
That's what I think of when I think of a boat. And it goes further over on your shoulders over versus a round is like down round.
Yeah.
This is a V-neck. Just kidding. I thought this was my other gray shirt.
Morning to the queens of eBay and Posh. I love it.
I'm thinking about storing my inventory in clear poly bags. I've heard mixed reviews on this. What are your thoughts? They're not clear poly bags. Are you meaning poly mailers, or are you talking about just bags?
Storing inventory.
Yeah,
we
but
do
in
that.
Clear poly bags. The poly threw me off.
Those are poly bags.
Are they poly bags? Yes, we do that then.
Yeah.
We use clear bags. I like them.
We use clear bags, but when we ship, we put it in a solid, not see-through bag to ship. But yes, I prefer that. You're okay. Rip it open.
Yeah.
This is real life.
Are you going to FlipCon? No. I almost slipped up and said something about where we are because I read one of these comments and it almost came out. I was about to tell you something, and then I was like, oh, yeah. Somebody tried to say Posh is in Chicago this year. If so, we'll be there.
Posh is in Chicago. I feel like I'm being trolled.
Probably. I'm moving back to Austin soon. Dusty's moving back to Austin. If so, we're going to go to Austin. We're going to visit with Dusty and Pat.
Yeah, he said, well, it's apparently really good sourcing there, which I already knew. It's going to be a good move for him.
When is eBay open usually? Around the same time as
Yeah, it's around the same time as Posh Fest. They're usually in the fall.
All right. Do you want to announce how much you make on YouTube, or are you skipping this question? We've come back to it.
I think that I'm going to like make an actual video all about YouTube, but let me just say that I don't just make money from YouTube views. I also like am able to promote affiliate things. Like when somebody signs up for List Perfectly because I have an affiliate code, I do get paid a portion of that. So I would consider that part of YouTube. And then I also get sponsorship deals where if we make certain videos for certain companies or review or unbox or whatever, we get paid that way. But strictly strictly just YouTube views, I will tell you that on average per video, on average, I usually make about only 150 to 200 per video, just for average view rates, but it could be more, could be less, depending on how the video goes. But maybe I'll share like all encompassing about YouTube someday. A lot of people have been asking about that. Not as much as the time it takes, I feel like, that I put into it, but
No.
I'll get there someday.
Am I dumb for not making an offer on one item bundles? I don't get it. I wait for them to add stuff, but then I forget about it. Why don't they just make an offer on the item?
So bundles on Poshmark are like shopping carts to buyers. So like if you've ever been shopping online and you're like still shopping, but you want to save an item you know you might want to get, and you add it to the shopping cart, but then you continue shopping, it's the same thing on Poshmark. So that might be why somebody's just adding it on there. Personally, I would still send an offer on the bundle, only because you don't have to offer a shipping discount on there, which when you do it through the regular price, like offer to washer on the item, you do have to include a shipping discount. So it actually might be in your best interest to offer it on the bundle.
Joe, I would say full length jeans are still selling at this time. I think people buy jeans pretty much year round. Also think about the fact that you're shipping to other places outside of California, and we still like jeans. Joyce Vintage says the burnout is real.
Yeah. I feel like for resellers, it's just like, don't get me wrong, like when I worked at another place, I was burnt out like
all the time.
But I feel like to get to that point happens so frequently in reselling. It's like you get to it, you get past it, but then shortly after that you get back to it again, because you're the one in charge of your business, and in order to succeed you do feel like you need to run. But it's real for sure.
Goofy dumb goofy ho star says ignore my name. eBay buyers are far more likely to pay asking price. Posh should change their name to The Audacity. Offers have been ridiculous. I will now only list items from the bins on there.
Yeah,
it is rough.
I would have to agree with that. I just heard a really weird sound. I'd have to agree with that. Like, it is true, like a lot of people hate eBay because it's a lot of work, but in my opinion, you have the opportunity to make more money over there, and buyers, I won't say they're not as difficult, because they can be difficult, but they're less stingy, it seems, on eBay versus Posh.
Yes. Items from the South says that they live near Destin, Florida, and we could come stay with them and go thrifting. Destin. And I would legitimately think about that, because I love that place.
That's like my favorite place to go in Florida.
Somebody was talking about day trips and how awesome they are. Cayley and I do that sometimes. We've gone to like pottery shops together. We get coffee together sometimes.
Yeah.
We go drink margaritas sometimes.
Yeah, I've been also thinking about doing like little weekend thrifting runs.
Yeah.
Just like to surrounding states, even just to check it out. I still want to go back to Kentucky, because we've talked about that a lot. But day trips, yeah, I feel like you could incorporate reselling and still get rid of the burnout if you were going on like a trip and you plan to
outside of your normal area. Yeah, I agree. How on earth do you read a Grayson size chart? Any pointers? I have a size 2 Grayson button down. I know you've sold this brand before. Let's look it up.
Everyone is saying to hit the like button, guys. We have 263 people watching. That's a lot. And only 75 thumbs up. If you guys could take a second, smash the like button. It's a free way to help the channel, and it takes like half a second. We do appreciate it. We are a little over an hour. We're still going through the chat, but we're going to start slamming through questions, because we do have stuff to go through. Ooh, then hit Voodoo Donuts. Yeah. I've never tried Voodoo Donuts, but it looks really good.
Voodoo Donuts.
They don't have any around here.
Oh. I don't know how to read this. It's by height and weight. That's confusing.
I am lost at what the question even was.
Grayson clothing.
Oh.
How do we convert to like an actual size?
Oh.
Because
they don't have a size chart at all?
They do, but it's by height and weight.
Oh. I gotcha.
So size 2 is technically 120 pounds and anywhere between 5'3" and 5'8". I would honestly probably just list it as the size that it is, hold it up and take an estimate based on myself, and say that there are measurements in the box.
You could also download the size chart and upload it onto your listing.
Yeah,
and
that's
say refer to size chart. But as far as the title goes, I would put the Grayson size in the title, but for your drop down, hold it up and
do your best guess.
Yeah, do your best guess. That's tough. But I bet you Grayson buyers are looking for the Grayson size.
Miss Valentina, I don't know how to say her first name, I'm so sorry. We will probably never do a video about taxes, except telling you to get a CPA, just because it is so different based on where you are and what your laws are for your state. I would recommend getting a really good CPA, but unfortunately, I don't think that's something that we will ever do.
I'll do a short video on some bookkeeping, but not tax related.
Good morning, Taylor Exchange.
Morning, Sean.
Welcome for the first people. What are strategies to create a good source route? How much time did it take for you to know which stores to prioritize? That's good.
That's a really good question. I don't think we've ever gotten that
Pamela.
One. How long did it take? Oh, it's ongoing.
Yeah.
I will say we learned very quickly that you can't just go to a store once and determine whether it should be part of your route or not. You got to give it a good chance on different weeks, on different days, at different times to kind of give it a full chance. But after that, once we figured out what stores were worth going to, we just tried to do clusters basically. And we figured out within the amount of time that we have, an 8-hour shift, how many can we normally drive through, hit the same ones in the same proximity, and then go down. And it's not just Nikki and I thrifting. We also have somebody else sourcing here on our team, and she hits the same ones every week too. So we make sure to hit it once a week, whatever stores we do go to. That way we can follow the color method, because if we didn't hit it once a week, we wouldn't be able to follow that. But I would say it's still ongoing. I would say it took a couple years to really nail it down of the ones that we wanted to get. So I would suggest trying out the ones in your areas on different days at different times, different weeks. Determine what your best ones are, and then try to find a route of proximity. Try to cluster them together and try to go every single week, because then you don't have to look through every single item if you're going every week.
James would like some more information on factor stacking.
You want to take this one?
Yeah, I can.
I feel like we answer this every time.
Yeah, essentially, there's just like the things that make items more desirable. So things like size, things like material, the length, if it's long sleeve versus short sleeve, or like a maxi dress versus a knee-length dress. We have a rule that we only follow comps, or they have to have multiple factors for us to pick up, or a combination of both. And that's just kind of how we decide what we're going to pick up. It's more about like what's trending and what factors are currently selling well on eBay. They're not definitive. I could say that right now the color orange is trending, and maybe it is. It does in the fall, right? But that's not going to be all the time. Factor stacking will change all the time based on seasonality, based on, I guess, just like what fashion-wise is trending. Think about like Y2K. That's a factor right now. We would use that as a reason to pick something up. But maybe in a year from now, Y2K will be gone and we won't want anything to do with it, and we'll be shipping all that stuff to the trash. I don't know.
The more desirable factors or features you can get in one item, the higher the likelihood that it will sell, even if it's not a good brand. And so sometimes we'll pick up stuff that are brands we wouldn't normally get, that if you can factor stack really well, you can get, and they can flip really quickly for $25. We were just talking about Coldwater Creek recently. We pick up their plus size stuff, but we usually have to factor stack with them. So there has to be something additional other than just plus size. And we found that like embroidery does really well when you factor stack with that. But we do a lot of factor stacking.
I'm going to shout this out for a second. Dusty Old Hat says smash that like button. So thank you. Also, I just want to put the feelers out there that are we here next Monday? We're going to be here next Monday, right? Nothing crazy? Yeah, next Monday. We're going to be here. I'm committing to it. I don't care if you want to call off. I'm going to be here.
Okay.
Next Monday, 10 a.m. I'm going to be here. If we can get 300 likes, Cayley gets pie in the face. And we have not been close. And I really want to do this. I let them pie me in the face. And I really want to get Cayley.
300 likes, people.
300 likes during the live, actively.
Oh, yes.
Invite your partners. Invite your children. School should be almost over. Unless you have season all year schools. But get out every device you have. Laptop, phone. Put them all on silent. You only have to watch on one. I will get a whipped cream pie, and I will whipped cream pie Cayley in the face with some chocolate sauce on it.
Chocolate sauce? We did not chocolate sauce.
You got dark hair. You got dark hair. Extra likes.
That's very syrupy.
It's fine. She'll be fine. So, next week, on Monday, I need you all to wake up your neighbors, your children, your partners, so this can happen.
I will video it right now
and put it online. Okay. Do you have your inventory insured? Yes. Here's your question. How do you figure out the amount needed to insure since it's always changing? I'm assuming you just overshoot.
The thing about insurance with anything, not just inventory, but like your housing contents, really anything, there are tiers. You just have to know which tier you fall under. So it's usually like, I'm making up numbers, but it'll be like, they'll ask you how much you think everything's worth, so you'll tell them. So they'll be like, okay, you fall in the 0 to 250,000 tier, or you fall in the 250,000 to insured to $500,000, or you fall into the $500,000 to $2 million. Like, they put you in a range, so even though you might fall in, even though your inventory, I am really making up numbers here, but let's say your inventory is worth 20,000 right now. Even though in a year, let's say you even double and your inventory is now worth 4,000, you're still insured within a range, which is probably a lot higher than you would be expecting. So it was really hard to find insurance on used goods. I called Geico and they told me that they did not have an option for that, but they knew of an insurance company that did. Well, I guess I can say it. It's called Next Insurance is who they referred me to. But it's harder than you think to get insurance on used inventory for business purposes, but that's who they referred me to and got it through. But it's like a tier system.
You walk into a cluttered, disastrous reselling workspace. Your task, should you accept, is to revamp the area from insanity to awesomeness. What steps would you pros take to turn the chaos around? Burn it. Just kidding. Just joking. That was a joke. Haha.
Immediate thoughts are to get several empty totes and start making piles of stuff first. Like organize into what's going to be donated, what's going to be listed, needs cleaned. Like, start by making piles would be my first inclination.
The first thing I would do would be to shove everything to a corner.
Yeah.
Put a shelf. And put totes on the shelf. And sort it.
Oh, they don't have an inventory system
at
all?
I don't know. I didn't say. They just said it was a insanity to awesomeness. So insanity, I was thinking just like piles of clothes on the floor with nothingness in there. Some of it's listed, some of it's not. Some of it needs clean, some of it's old. I would sort things, and then I would have a rack of all the things that were totally listed.
Nobody puts death pile in a corner.
I'm putting death pile right over there in the corner.
I would also tip, get yourself a big old glass of coffee and get ready.
Tequila. You're going to need more than coffee for that crap. Yeah, I don't know, Lori. I think I would give you the same advice that I gave the other person earlier. That I think her name was Beth. You just have to start like in one spot. If it's too much to just go in and jump in, give yourself a manageable pile and say, I'm going to finish this today. And then each day do that.
Yeah, I don't remember what the term is, but there's an actual term for like, once you, if you can get yourself to the point of starting, you'll probably just end up finishing it. Mm-hmm. Like if you want to start the habit of running, just putting on your tennis shoes and tying them, most of the time you're going to go ahead and go through with the run. It's the same thing. Just get started.
Judy says that she uses her phone for listings and pictures. Do so similar and updates the listing. She does 10 a day, prep and list. Gets up at 3:30 a.m. and finishes by 5:30 or 6 a.m. That's pretty good.
That's a baller.
Yeah. And now that the weather is nice, at 8, I head to the senior beach here on Long Island until 12 to reset. I'm 68 years young. Oh. Judy, we're going to come spend time with you at the senior beach.
I love that. If everyone, because you know, people have kids or they live further away, if I could, we would start earlier and be done by noon, but
I have children.
Yeah,
sorry.
We can't. But we have been talking about staggering with new employees, getting some people in here earlier to start shipping and stuff. But yeah, that sounds like a dream.
Natalie's about 2 years away from me leaving her at home, putting her in charge of Squish. It's time. My time's about to shine. I had kids pretty young. Time's about to shine. When shipping for Poshmark, can I tape 2 shoe boxes together to ship a pair of shoes? They're men's size 16 and don't fit in one box. You could put Poshmark in anything your heart desires. I notice sellers are putting likes in bundles to avoid the shipping discount. Kinda irritates me. Your thoughts?
They're putting
likes in bundles to avoid the shipping discounts.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far. I don't think that you should create a bundle for someone. I think if they've already bundled and you want to send the offer, fine. My thoughts are, I do not have time to do that.
No, but I could see the value. I mean, not having anything to do with the shipping discounts, but like I could see the value of like, even for the buyer, for you to group everything to like try to make a sale and putting stuff, if you had the time. I'm not saying we would have the time. But if you only had like, I don't know, 100 items and you only had 5 people that reached out with like 3 or 4 items, I could see where you would at least bundle them for them and make an offer. Maybe you'd be more likely to sell all the items. I don't necessarily want to say that for the shipping discounts, but
I only do that if I know that they're like if they've sent me multiple offers, but for individual different items, I'll bundle for them and then send them an offer so they can save on shipping. But I don't ever just do it to try and promote my closet, if that makes sense. But there are a lot of people, I'm not saying it's right or wrong, I'm just saying I feel like your time might be spent better elsewhere, but there's people that do that every day. Every day they'll go, and every like they get, they'll add to, or every buyer that they get a notification for, they'll go and add, you know, all that into a bundle, send them an offer, have a copy and paste message. I actually did that like a few years, or I guess like 2 years ago when I started Posh, because I saw someone doing that and they were like, I made a ton of sales. I tried that. I was like 10 minutes in, I was like, this is taking forever. This is not going to work, and I made no sales. So I feel like your time could be better spent elsewhere, but that's just my opinion.
We are not everything sellers. We mostly sell clothing. Cayley likes to splurge sometimes and buy things she shouldn't buy, but we do not sell everything.
Clothing, shoes, accessories.
Smash that like button. Man, everybody likes to say that. I appreciate it. Travel sourcing is hella fun. Yes.
I feel like I travel source every day.
Yeah. Poshmark buyers have been insane lately. I've had the same pair of sunglasses sell 3 days in a row within an hour of listing for 5 more each time. Then out of nowhere, they want to cancel.
I don't get it. We've had a lot of issues, not on Poshmark mostly, but on eBay. But yeah, buyers have been awfully picky lately, like more than normal. I don't get it.
How
It's
do you
that new
handle?
moon.
Sorry, I thought you were done.
Sorry.
No, that was me. I was reading at the same time. Mishimu. How do you handle the delicate situation of canceling offers when an item sells on another platform? Do you inform the buyer that the offer is canceled and that it's sold on another site?
Are you talking about like something sells on eBay, but then you have to take it down on Poshmark because it stops you? There's a workaround on that. You can edit the listing, change the size, sometimes the brand if that doesn't work, list it again, and then edit and delete, and it will clear out your offers and you can delete it. On eBay, you just end the item. It doesn't matter if you have active offers or not. So I feel like you're talking about Poshmark, and I would use that workaround. He's got a lot of good questions today.
Yeah, these are pretty good. Joe, when we talk about uploading or downloading the size chart into the listing, you would just screenshot it and put it as a photo. So you would do that. When you go into Goodwill, do you pay attention to the 50% off price, or are you only paying attention to finding the good items as fast as possible?
I mean, I feel like we take note of what the half off price is, but we are not actively looking for the half off color. If we happen to, our method is to look for the new colors, and then if anything else grabs our attention, no matter what color it is, we'll look at it. Sometimes it ends up being half off, but we don't actively look at half off colors most of the time. Not saying you can't find good stuff in there, because you totally can. But usually the amount of time, like if we looked for new colors and half off colors, we'd be spending double the amount of time in the thrift store to maybe come out with an extra couple of items. To me, it's not worth it.
I agree. I'm just reading this. It's not a question.
Okay.
Oh, I guess it does have a question. I wanted to end 16 ending today items, but I accidentally ended 200 regular listings. I called eBay freaking out that 200 disappeared. Then I realized that I made a mistake. Crying emoji. Laugh crying. Not sad. Have you ever made a weird mistake like this?
I'm sure that I have. I'm sure we all have. I can't think of one.
I feel so bad for them.
Well, yeah.
I mean, it's not that hard to fix, but like still.
They have to pay. Well, yeah, you have to pay for the relist. But
Yeah.
the only thing I can think of, like I am sure I've made plenty of those mistakes. I just can't think of any right now because it's been a while. But I do know one, multiple times actually. Every time I accidentally click into business policies, everything gets messed up, and I always panic and I feel like crying. And I'm like, how do I fix this? I haven't had that happen in a while, but I feel like that's how I feel when business policies gets all screwed up, and I didn't even mean to click into it. So, yeah.
Karina says she's going camping next Monday, so she won't be able to join us. Sorry.
You know what? I thought of an example. Something that we have done recently. When we go to schedule items, instead of scheduling them or saving the draft or something, sometimes we'll accidentally set all of them active.
That makes me sad.
We have done that before.
Dusty Hat wants to know if you carry liability insurance for the office because of having employees.
Yes. I have all the insurances, including liability insurance. I also have to have, not just for the inventory, but also contents of anything in here that might get damaged too if it were to be my fault.
Kelly, this is a good question from Kelly. Good questions today.
Yeah.
Whenever you have a pair of jeans that are a size 11 or 12, 11/12, do you list it as an 11 or as a size 12? Does it matter? I also have a dress that's a size 7/8. Poshmark doesn't even have those sizings, and I don't like custom sizings. This is good.
Yeah, I usually, because of the like 9, 10, 11, 12, that tells me it's probably a junior fit. So I usually choose the junior sizing. So like on eBay, I'll still put, I don't remember what number she gave. Let's say it's 7/8. In the title, I'll do size 7/8. But then on the drop downs, I'll pick juniors size 7 is usually what I pick.
I always normally pick the smaller number just because if you're a smaller number, you can always wear something a little oversized.
Yeah.
If you're bigger, you can't wear something smaller.
Yeah. Agreed. Good question.
We do not do whatnot. Maybe at some point, but we're not currently doing whatnot. Sorry, I lost my spot here.
You're fine. All of a sudden, I got really hungry. I feel like I need tacos or something. Did you bring your lunch today?
I did. I'm opening a small buy-sell trade store, only selling brands at $15 or $20. Any advice?
No. Sorry, I have no idea. I have never done something like that. I don't think I'll ever do something like in person. So no, I'm sorry, I can't offer you advice. I would reach out. Maybe someone can help us out in the chat of some people that have physical storefronts for buy sell trade. If you guys know of any resellers that do that, put them in the chat and maybe you could reach out to them. Sorry, I can't be more help. I don't like to offer advice when I have no idea what I'm talking about, so I'm just gonna leave that one there. There is no conceivable reason you should do whatnot. I don't know. I just want to try it. She wants to try a Posh show too. We just want to try it and like get it out of our system and see. I like the idea that we could sell things before having to spend the time listing and photographing and everything, even if it meant a slightly lower profit. But I do think probably not gonna be in our best interest. But I feel like we have to get it out of our system.
I was thinking whatnot would be nice for like the stuff that we decided that we shouldn't have picked up and we were gonna end to donate. That was what I intended not Poshmark, whatnot for, because I was thinking most of the stuff it sells on there sells for pretty cheap. People might buy it just based on style. Yeah. That would be the only thing that I would honestly consider for whatnot.
I think we
should.
Or
bin stuff.
I think we were gonna try both. A regular, like normal haul with the normal stuff we get, and then also some discounted cheapy stuff and see how each of them do. By the time we get to it though, whatnot might not even exist. They'll do away with Posh shows.
Is there something wrong with best offers? I'll send an offer and I'll get a counter offer, but it doesn't say how much my offer was or when it was sent. If there is another offer out there? I don't know about anything. I haven't seen anything yet.
I'm not sure if you're talking about eBay or Posh. Because on both you should be able to see. Not
It
sure.
doesn't specify. Do you recommend putting a slide reminding potential buyers that they can make an offer to your listings? Also, what about listings for specific shipping upgrades as add-ons?
I don't think it matters myself, unless you've got like a super curated closet that you have followers for, and they come specifically, like let's say you have a big Instagram following and they're coming specifically to your Poshmark closet because they know you specifically, then I might, but I've done that in the past and it made absolutely no difference. And most people find stuff through search, not by going to your closet. Just my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. How do you know if an item is a dress or a long shirt? I saw someone with the same listing as a dress and some as a top. Tell me there is an industry secret here to figure this out. I made one of these for dress length to figure it out. If it's like super versatile, like Free People has a lot of options and you can't search the style name on it, a lot of times we'll just put them as a tunic dress or like a short dress. You kind of have to decide. But I would look at length.
Just hold it up to your body and ask yourself, could I wear this without having to have shorts underneath? If the answer is no, it's probably a tunic top.
Yes.
I know there are some short dresses out there, but like really hold it up to your body and think, is this just a mini dress or is it absolutely a top? Most of the time you can tell.
Color method we were talking about earlier, Pamela, is just shopping by the new color. So we go to the new rack, see what the new colors are, and then we only shop those new colors in the stores that we're going to rather than searching through everything again, because we're able to go every single week. Everybody says let's get tacos.
I really want tacos for some reason. I did not bring my lunch today. I was a bad girl. But
Why didn't you tell me this? I want to be bad too.
Because I didn't want to derail you. I mean, you could eat it for dinner.
No, I made a sandwich. I'm worried about lunch meat being cold.
We have a fridge.
Yeah, but I'm not going to be here tomorrow. It would sit there for 3 days. It would get soggy. It has mustard on it.
Oh.
Yeah. No, sorry. You ruined my day. People are like, what an ass. Problem is you can't do just okay. There's a lot of stuff on here about whatnot, and I'm not reading it because people just go into.
People are saying you should go eat tacos.
I know, right? Problem is you can't just do one show. You have to do numerous and get some water and get the following. That's true. Have you considered Jamble? I've never even heard of that.
No, I haven't heard of it.
How long does it take you to share? We have an automatic share.
We use Posh VA. It's linked in the Linktree in all my videos. And if you want to use it, you can try it. I think they give you 2 weeks free now. You don't even have to put in a credit card. So you can try it 2 weeks free, but it's an extension that shares your closet for you. It also sends out offers. I love it. It's basically like having an employee, but for $25 a month, which is really cool.
Have you ever bought anything from Daily Refinement?
I don't think so. Not to my knowledge. Should I? Should we see?
I definitely, well, people are talking about getting offers. If people are mad because you ended an offer before 24 hours, like that sucks for them. Maybe they should have accepted it sooner.
Yeah, we don't.
If you sold it, you sold it. I've never had anybody come back, but I feel like that's a Claudette. If you want to share your story, please send me the link and we'll put that on the next podcast.
I feel like we have had people that have been like, what the heck?
Where'd my item
go? You just sent me an offer, but I don't see it anymore. And I find satisfaction in saying, sorry, another buyer purchased this, but it's usually what I say. And then they're fine. They never message back.
When first getting started, is it better to open an eBay store or sell in a regular account? That's what's holding me back. I have tons of inventory, just stuck on getting started.
Well, you could do either. Usually a store is not going to be beneficial to you until you hit, I feel like it's like 250 listings or something like that. But it really depends. And you can always switch. So you can start with a personal and then switch to a store whenever you feel like it. So I would say the best thing you can do is just get started. If you feel like switching to a store, it's only $5 a month. The only benefit of having a store versus a personal up until you get to 250 would be that you have bulk features that you can use that you wouldn't normally have with a personal account. But honestly, just get started. You can switch later. It's pretty much the same thing.
Go eat tacos. This is correct. I want to be bad too, she says. You're kind of my spirit animal. Thanks. 3 taco emojis. OST, Dusty Old Hat linked the how to drop prices on eBay for you, so that should help answer your questions. Bruno says go have tacos. Have the same. And that's the end of the chat. 12:05. It's lunchtime. It's
okay, taco time. Gotta go. Love you guys. Bye.